In a world that often makes us feel disconnected, distant from everything and everyone, it is natural that some people do not know how to deal with loneliness, and therefore feel drawn to despair. But have you ever stopped to think that this isolation may not be by chance? For deep reasons. This loneliness may contain hidden opportunities, waiting to be discovered. So, do not feel distressed. Let's discover the power behind loneliness. We will understand why the universe may be isolating you and what invaluable life lessons may be hidden in each of these experiences. Not all company is positive, and sometimes, being with someone can become quite an uncomfortable burden. This reminds us of a simple truth. We come into this world alone, and, in the same way, we will leave. When we learn to value the moments in which we are alone, we begin to understand the real value of being with others. Being alone does not mean isolating yourself from the world, but rather reconnecting with yourself. It is a chance to disconnect from distractions and external influences to get to know yourself, explore your deepest thoughts and emotions. Use this moment to start questioning who you are, what you really like, what your dreams, fears, and hopes are. It is in this space of silence and peace that you truly find yourself, where your essence reveals itself like a mirror, showing who you really are. This process of introspection also allows you to reflect on your choices, your mistakes and successes, your desires and the path you are taking, offering the clarity you need to align your life with what truly matters to you. One of the greatest benefits of solitude is the strengthening of our emotional autonomy. When we are alone, we learn to deal with our emotions without depending on the validation of others or constant company. We develop an emotional independence that makes us more resilient in the face of the challenges we face in life. Knowing how to be comfortable with yourself is a sign of maturity and self-acceptance, which directly reflects on our relationships, making them healthier and more genuine, as we no longer seek in others the completeness that we only find within ourselves. Loneliness, often seen as something negative, has a transformative power that we don't always realize right away. Being alone may seem uncomfortable, but it is in this space of silence that we find the opportunity to reconnect with who we truly are. By removing ourselves from the noise and distractions of the outside world, we are able to hear our inner voice, which is often drowned out by the demands of daily life. In isolation, we learn to deal with our problems independently, making decisions and taking care of our own well-being. This autonomy brings us freedom, since we do not depend on other people to complete us or solve our problems. This also strengthens our family bonds, because when we become more self-sufficient, we are also more respected and valued. This transformation not only makes you a better partner, but also a more compassionate, empathetic, and caring friend and family member. And as a result, our interactions with others cease to be obligatory interactions and become more loving and joyful connections. In solitude, we also understand the true meaning of self-respect. By recognizing our worth, we begin to not allow anyone to diminish us. This confidence helps us to set clear boundaries, a gesture of self-love that benefits both us and those around us. Setting these healthy boundaries transforms our relationships, making them more balanced and harmonious. By acting with respect and clarity, we create stronger and more authentic connections, based on mutual understanding. As a result, respect and love not only coexist, but also grow, strengthening our relationships and providing well-being for everyone. In addition, solitude can be a creative space. When we are alone, we open ourselves to imagination, to new thoughts and ideas. Without the distractions and expectations of other people, we are better able to focus on personal projects, develop skills, and pursue new interests. Creativity flourishes when we give our minds time to explore freely, without external pressures. Great inventions, books, and works of art were born in the silence of solitude, proving that this space is fertile for intellectual and artistic development. Solitude allows you to see things from a different perspective, without interference, bringing inspiration to move forward with your projects and dreams. The more you take advantage of this time to connect with your creativity, the more discoveries and achievements can arise. Solitude also offers us the opportunity to rest and recharge our batteries. It is during this time that we can disconnect from stress and cultivate inner peace, recovering the balance needed to face our problems with more serenity. Therefore, solitude does not have to be a villain. It can be a powerful ally on the path to a fuller and more authentic life. Being comfortable in your own company is a valuable skill. As human beings, we have a very special characteristic: the ability to simply be, without the constant need to interact. It is in moments of solitude that we truly shape our identity. It is as if, when we are alone, we paint the picture of who we are, with the vibrant colors of our experiences. Each of us is a work of art in progress, and it is in our own company that we refine our essence and connect more deeply with who we really are. In today's fast-paced world, full of connections and distractions, the idea of being alone can cause discomfort, but it is in these phases that we begin a true journey of self-discovery. We are so used to external distractions that we often run away to avoid facing our own thoughts. That is why it is so important to learn to be silent, to reflect, to find strength in stillness. With all the external noise, silence becomes a sacred pause, a moment of communion with the universe, where we realign ourselves with the truth about ourselves and our purpose. In the tranquility of being alone, we find new wisdom, which allows us to see life with more lightness. In the midst of the rush and noise of the world, it is easy to lose sight of our purpose. But when we allow ourselves to be silent, the noise fades away, and we can hear the whispers of our soul, guiding us in the right direction. It is in solitude that we find the perfect space for self-reflection. With patience and compassion, we can take care of our thoughts and strengthen our emotions. This process connects us deeply with our true selves. Being alone is an opportunity for us to take off our masks and face our vulnerabilities, without fear of looking within and discovering hidden truths. In the stillness of solitude, our personal development reaches its peak. We free ourselves from the shackles of the past and spread our wings to fly towards new horizons and new possibilities. Solitude makes us identify the patterns that create our behaviors, the origins of our fears, and the aspirations that stir our soul. In this process of introspection, the seeds of growth that are waiting to blossom within us can be revealed. It is like tending a garden, where we pull out the weeds of doubt and nourish it with the flowers of self-love. Why not try to find comfort in ourselves, simply allowing ourselves to be in the present, feeling every detail of this moment? Being alone is actually an act of courage. This is because, in this state, we cannot hide behind social roles or external approvals. It is when we are truly on our own that we find the courage to face the shadows within us, to look head-on at our insecurities, our dreams, our fears, and the whole range of emotions that make up who we are. These shadows are like dark clouds that try to hide our true essence. But, as we shine the light of awareness on them, we realize that they are fleeting illusions, without the power to shake our inner strength. It is in this silence that we rediscover the wisdom that has always been within us. We realize that true growth comes from accepting our imperfections, not from hiding them. The beauty of personal evolution is understanding that we are always changing and learning. The point is not to seek perfection, but rather to cultivate and value that divine spark that is buried beneath the layers of expectations and social pressures. It is this spark that holds the key to unlocking our true potential. Being alone, therefore, is not synonymous with loneliness. On the contrary, it is an act of self-love, of compassion for who we are. In these moments, we become our best friends, those who encourage us, who celebrate our victories and forgive our mistakes. We begin to treat ourselves with more kindness, forgiving our mistakes and celebrating our small and large achievements. It is in this solitude that we discover something deeper. We are never truly alone. It is precisely in this process that we understand our connection to something greater, a divine force that surrounds and guides us. When we connect with our inner self, we realize that we are part of a whole, where the universe or a divine energy is always present, sustaining us. In stillness, we feel this living presence, reminding us that, even in moments of isolation, we are always accompanied by this greater essence that cares for us and guides us. In stillness, we can listen to the sound of our own heart, the whispers of our soul, and the universal rhythms that connect us to everything and everyone. We also find space to dream and imagine a life that is truly in tune with our deepest desires. When we truly connect with who we are, we become more authentic and present in our relationships, because when we interact from this place of self-knowledge, we build bonds based on honesty, empathy, and respect. The idea of being alone may seem strange when we think about the search for satisfying relationships, since connections with others are, in fact, the essence of life. But it is precisely by allowing ourselves to be alone that we open the way for true bonds. In these moments of solitude, we develop emotional intelligence, which helps us understand our own feelings and empathize with the feelings of others. This emotional intelligence is the bridge that connects our heart to the hearts of others, creating relationships based on compassion and mutual understanding. True harmony in our relationships is only possible when we find peace and fulfillment in our own company. When we learn to recognize our emotions and needs, we are able to express them clearly. And it is this open and honest exchange that builds the foundation for trust to grow. These moments when we are alone are not a retreat from the world, but a necessary pause, an opportunity for reflection that makes our future relationships richer and more meaningful. It is in this pause that we find the wisdom to discern which relationships truly nourish our soul and are in line with our values. Being in our own company gives us the insight necessary to recognize when a relationship is not contributing to our growth and well-being. By accepting this truth, we are able to strengthen our bonds and decide which path we should follow and what actions we should take. As we go through these challenging times, we learn to identify what truly matters in our relationships and to seek interactions that nourish our soul. In the process, we become more selective and conscious, building bonds based on authenticity and respect. Being alone is a powerful way to practice self-love while also developing compassion for others. When we learn to be comfortable with our own company, we become a source of inspiration, bringing positive change to those around us. Treat these moments of solitude as a sacred journey into yourself. By truly knowing and loving yourself, you discover the secret to better understanding and loving others. You create a baseline for how you want to be treated and set the standards for how you want and deserve to be loved. Self-knowledge is the starting point for better understanding others, and the deeper we deepen our relationship with ourselves, the stronger our relationships will be. It's simple. We can only give what we have inside. When our inner reservoir is full of love and affection, we are able to genuinely share it with others. Moments of solitude become valuable opportunities to replenish this inner reservoir. In the midst of a crisis of loneliness, you may wonder why the divine God or the universe put you in such a sad and often desperate situation. The frustration and discouragement that accompany these phases can obscure your vision of what is really behind this moment. However, it is precisely during these periods of isolation that you have the chance to discover strengths that you didn't even know you had. What at first glance seems like a void can turn out to be fertile ground for your self-development and the encouragement you need to put an end to it. Change your attitudes to redirect your life, find your true mission, and even meet people who have affinities with you. Loneliness can often seem like a heavy burden, but it is important to remember that you are not alone in this feeling. A huge number of people go through a life or periods of loneliness, whether due to circumstances or their own choice. This does not mean that there is something wrong with you or that it will be like this forever. Instead of despairing, take advantage of this moment to take care of yourself. Dedicate time to activities that you enjoy, explore new hobbies, or even those things that you have always wanted to do, but have always put off to start in a future that never comes. Reading, exercising, meditating, or even learning something new can be very beneficial. It is important to cultivate self-love and invest in your personal growth while you are alone, as this will bring more balance and happiness into your life. There is no point in meeting people at social gatherings or seeking other fleeting pleasures if you are not feeling good about yourself, because this will not fill the void you feel. On the contrary, you end up creating expectations and becoming frustrated. The feeling of feeling out of place and not belonging can worsen, leading to a greater sense of loneliness, even if you are surrounded by people. This is why true connection starts from the inside out. When you feel good about yourself, loneliness ceases to be a burden, and interactions with others become lighter and more authentic, without the pressure of fulfilling your internal needs. The key is to learn to be emotionally self-sufficient, to nurture your own well-being, and to see loneliness as a phase of growth and self-improvement. In this way, the relationships you build from there will be based on reciprocity and truth, instead of just trying to fill emotional gaps. This will give you the freedom to choose to be with others for pleasure, and not out of necessity. When you become emotionally self-sufficient, the connections that arise in your life become more permanent and bring you more joy and satisfaction. You will no longer be submitting yourself to the approval or affection of others to feel complete, and consequently, you will begin to share your fulfillment with others. In this way, instead of depending on others to find happiness, You will be adding experiences that enrich your life, without losing sight of your own value and independence. This change in perspective allows you to view loneliness in a more positive way. You start to enjoy the company of others more without needing them to be happy. This brings you security and opens doors to healthier relationships, where you don't lose your essence and the exchange of affection and experiences flows naturally. By strengthening and cultivating your essence, you begin to realize that loneliness is not something to be feared, but rather an essential part of your evolution. This also protects you against superficial or dependent relationships, because you have already found within yourself what we often seek in others: inner peace, self-love, and true happiness. With this new mindset, you become more selective and assertive in your choices, both personal and social. You start to have connections and experiences that truly contribute to your growth, instead of momentarily filling a void. This balance between enjoying solitude and sharing moments with others creates a richer and more enjoyable life. After all, when we are in harmony with ourselves, each phase of life becomes an opportunity to mature and evolve. If you have a strong desire to be with other people, look for opportunities to meet new people in a gentle and gradual way. Join interest groups, courses, volunteer activities, or even social events in your community. In addition, social networks can be a good way to connect with people with similar interests. The important thing is to remain open and active, without rushing, allowing new friendships and connections to emerge naturally. Remember that loneliness can be a valuable opportunity to strengthen yourself. Most of the time we are alone because we choose to be, since there are many ways to escape this state and connect with other people. Have you ever considered that the universe may be creating this isolation precisely so that you seek out people with the same purposes and values as you? Who knows, along this path, a special person may already be waiting for you, ready to share a new phase of your life. Do not see loneliness as a punishment, but rather as a valuable time for you to strengthen yourself for what is to come. Accept it as the ideal moment to reevaluate or create your goals and objectives. You may realize that some of the things you previously wanted no longer make sense, or that your interests have changed. This is the time to adjust the course of your life, without pressure, prioritizing what truly brings you satisfaction and inner peace. This does not mean isolating yourself permanently, but using solitude as a springboard for a new beginning. And when you are ready, new connections will arise naturally. The universe usually directs us towards what we are ready to receive. Sometimes, solitude is just a preparation for you to find people with whom you truly identify and build deeper and truer bonds. Don't be afraid to make room for new experiences and people. They may be the missing pieces to complete this new phase of your journey. Make an effort, dedicate yourself to changing your situation. Do it for yourself, you deserve it. If you like this video, like it and share it with your loved ones and people who can benefit from this message. Thank you for watching and take care of yourself. Life is very precious. Don't get discouraged because everything passes. May God bless you and your life. See you soon.